All right, y'all. So we back with part 5. First of all, let me correct my last video. I put part 5 up there, but that was really part 4. So this is the real part 5, y'all. Let's jump on in. So, Miss Minnie explains to Ernestine that her husband Frank has a twin brother. Ernestine is in complete shock at this point. Then Miss Minnie sends for her son and tells her son to go and bring the brother in the back. He walks in, a little hesitant, of course, because he just got his shit rocked by Ernestine a few minutes ago. But anyway, he comes in and he says, "Ma'am, I don't have no reason to lie, but my name is not Frank. My name is Frederick." He pulls out his ID, and sure enough, his name is Frederick Middleton. So Ernestine, she's speechless. Like, she just really doesn't know what to say at this point. So she's basically done for the night. Like, she can't take any more information in, basically. It's just too much for her. So she asks Miss Minnie, can she go ahead and leave, and she tells her that she would like to speak with her again before she leaves town. She leaves. Her and Kayla go back to the hotel. Kayla is, really trying to console her after Ernestine breaks down and tells her everything that she found out tonight. So Kayla was like, let me get this straight. Not only is Frank adopted, he has a twin brother. Not just a regular brother, a twin brother that looks just like him. And they don't know about each other. Ernestine was like, yes. When Miss Minnie brought Frederick in, and after he showed Ernestine his ID, Miss Minnie went on to explain that, yes, he did have a twin brother. Frederick had known about Franklin, but he just thought that he might have been passed on, or that they would never see each other again. So for him to find out that his twin was still alive, it was shocking to him as well. Nobody saw this day coming. Except, I kind of think Miss Minnie did a little bit, y'all. Anyway, Kayla tells Ernestine to call Frank. Talk to him. Be honest with him. And Ernestine was like, yeah, like how he was being honest with me. So Ernestine proceeds to call Frank at the hotel where he is staying at. They get on the phone. He asks her how's her trip going and when she'll be back. Ernestine breaks down. She says, Frank, why have you been lying to me all these years? Why have you been lying to me all this time? Have I not been a good wife to you? Have I not been true to you? Do I not seem trustworthy? So, of course, Frank is like, baby, what are you talking about? And that's when she says, why didn't you tell me you were adopted? Frank gets real quiet, y'all. She thought the phone went dead. And then he finally finds the words to say. And he says, because I never wanted to admit it. He says, I knew a long time, but I just never wanted to admit that I was adopted. I love my parents. These are the only parents I know. And for somebody just to give me up and give me away like that, it was just something I didn't want to deal with. And I felt like if they gave me away, there was no need for me to go and look for them. Ernestine could feel where he was coming from, but that still didn't explain why he couldn't confide in her. He says it was because he was in denial, but she just didn't know if it was something deeper. So she began to cry on the phone, and she told Frank that he had a twin brother. Frank got angry because he was like, what are you doing down there? He was like, do you know how long I've had that address? I never went looking for those people. I didn't want to know those people. And now you bringing them into my life involuntarily. Kayla just sitting there in disbelief because she can basically hear him through the phone fussing at Ernestine. She grabbed the phone. She said, Frank, you are no good liar. You need to get your ass down here. You talking about you don't want to meet your family. This your family. Whether you deal with them or not, at least embrace them and find out the truth. You need to get your ass down here and stop talking to her like that. So Frank then proceeds to say, when are you leaving from down there? And that's when Ernestine was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay for a couple of more days just to find out everything I need to know so I can make my decision. And Frank was like, what decision would that be? She said, whether I want to stay married to you. I don't know you. And she hung the phone up. So for some reason, Ernestine was just drawn to Miss Minnie. She wanted to know more about her. She wanted to talk with her, and she just wanted to figure out some things. She just felt like she could talk to her. She just felt like there was some type of connection between her and Miss Minnie. Kayla already decided that they were going to leave the date. They were going to spend 2 more days in that town, and then they were leaving because she had a date with Ron. So she wanted to get to know him a little better. While Kayla was on her date with Ron, Ernestine went over to Miss Minnie's house. She walked into a big, beautiful, beautiful house, y'all. Not to mention, Miss Minnie was a wonderful cook. She was frying chicken, collard greens, macaroni, and cornbread. Everything was already laid out. She was just putting the chicken in there, and everything else was already done. But she ate dinner with them, and then after that, her and Miss Minnie kind of went for a little walk. So they walked out back, and Miss Minnie just was telling Ernestine that she was not perfect. She did her best by her children, but there was some things that she wished she could have changed. She also expressed that she did want to meet Frank, but she could understand if he was a little hesitant and that it may take him some time to come around. Then Kelly began to ask Miss Minnie some more questions. She said, well, I heard that you do a certain type of service for people. And Miss Minnie was like, I know you heard the stories about me. And to be honest, they are true. Everything you heard. Nobody plays with Minnie. I made sure of that years ago. Then Miss Minnie went on to say, and she went on to say to Ernestine, she said, do you know that you hold a lot of power within you? Ernestine shook her head no. She was like, honestly, Miss Minnie, I always just went to church. She was like, I don't know anything. I don't know too much about spirituality. I don't really know too much about all that kind of stuff with roots and stuff. She said, I did go to a root worker to get some herbs, and I did a spiritual bath, but other than that, I don't know too much about it. Miss Minnie went on to tell her that when she touched her hand, she had a vision of of Ernestine. And she told Ernestine, she said, you are a high-ranking priestess in the spiritual realm. You hold a lot of power. You just don't know how to unlock it. Do you even want to unlock it? Miss Minnie asked. Ernestine got quiet. She started to think about it. She started to think about everything that had happened over the past few days, and she knew that anything was possible. She said, yes, I do want to unlock it. I do want to unlock the power that's inside of me. They began to walk further and further away from the house, down to where Miss Minnie's pond was. And Miss Minnie said, are you ready right now? Ernestine said, yes, Miss Minnie, I'm ready. The next thing you know, y'all, Miss Minnie pushed Ernestine into the pond. Come back for part 6.